Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena, and in today's video I'm going to be sewing up a quick outfit for some air travel. I'm going to a YouTube event and meeting up with Drew in a few days, so I needed to make an outfit that was fit for the weather, also quick and easy to wear, doesn't wrinkle too bad, like a lot of stipulations for like a day trip only. So if you're interested in seeing me sew up this dress, go ahead and like this video. Also, I want to say a big, huge thank you for all the support on my Vogue gown video. It meant the world to me, all the support. You guys really knocked it out of the park with commenting, sharing, liking, and that video got enough views to where I was able to make my money back for materials. So I truly appreciate that, and I want you to know here now that I'm thankful for the support on that video. So now let's get into this new make. Decision making was a little bit difficult for me with this project, so I'll get into that a little bit later. So inspiration was some of these doll fashion ideas on the left, and on the right are the patterns that I used to create my dress. I used Simplicity 4556 for the bodice and Simplicity 4051 for the skirt. I'm using fabric I already have in my stash, so that teal and green is the color palette, and then I like the silhouette of the other gown that the doll is wearing. With all the patterns in my stash, I was still at a loss for what I wanted to make, how I wanted to combine everything, so that's why I turned to doll fashion, which I search on Pinterest to get some inspiration. I'm starting with the skirt because at this point I still wasn't sure what I was going to do for the bodice. I was going in two different directions, and regardless I was going to go with the same style skirt. So this is just a simple straight skirt. I'm going in with stay stitching the pleats on the front, and the overall silhouette is very simple. I wanted attached sleeves mainly because I knew I wanted the neckline to be dramatic, and I didn't want to see that seam line where the attached sleeve would have been. The seamed sleeve would have been, so that's why I went with an attached sleeve, because I didn't want anything to take away from that neckline. I chose fabric from my stash, but still I was having a difficult time with deciding what to make. And the reason being is because I'm going to be on the plane. This is just a day trip, so I'm going to be on several planes, and I wanted to make sure that this dress didn't get wrinkled because it's a YouTube destination. I represent the sewing community, and I didn't want to look a mess when I got there. However, because it's a day trip, I'm not carrying any luggage, and any luggage that I would be carrying would be a carry-on, and I didn't want it to be crumpled in my bag. So whatever I wore had to be able to withstand the flight, because I wasn't going to change. Again, I didn't want to go fabric shopping for this project. So I knew that whatever I wore had to have some kind of polyester content or wool. And also I wanted to go with a kind of vibrant look for this because we are going to Louisiana. And also we were unsure about what the weather was going to be, which it did change. So I knew I wanted sleeves because one, airports are usually really cold, but then I didn't want them to be too long because then I felt like the weather outside would be too hot. So that was my next confusion. Normally I would wear a suit for travel. I love a travel suit, but most of my travel suits are of cotton, which I was afraid might be too thin and easily wrinkled. And then the other suits I have are a heavier wool, which would have been too hot once I got where I was going. So that's how come I didn't wear something I already had. And last but certainly not least, the silhouette. I have plenty of full skirted dresses that have some sort of a bolero that goes with it, but I was trying to be mindful of the fact that I am traveling. I didn't want a bunch of petticoats underneath there, but I always feel like full skirted dresses don't meet their full potential unless they have all of the structure underneath it. And since I'm representing the vintage sewing community, I felt like it would be really important to wear the dress the way that it shows the best. So that's how I ended up with the straight silhouette, with all the drama being in that stand rolled collar. And in order to create that collar, it is cut on the bias, so you do not want your interfacing to be within the seam allowance because that will hinder its stretch, and that stretch is really important so that way when it folds or rolls on the neckline, you don't have harsh creases in that collar. The original bodice of this pattern has like a giant bow on the back, and I love a good bow, so usually I would put that on there. But in this case, because I am going to be sitting for quite a while on those flights, I knew that the bow would be very uncomfortable, so I left it off of this make. And so it's just going to highlight the V cutout in the back, which is not that low, but I feel like low enough to bring interest to the garment. So I think the interest from this is going to be the contrasting fabric color that I chose, which is that really pretty chartreuse green, as well as the rolled collar. And I just wanted it to come out looking very neat and let the color and overall architecture of the dress do the work for me, which is not usually my style. I love a very bold, vibrant print. I love a big skirt. I love all of the drama, and I think if it weren't a situation where I was traveling, I would make this dress exactly the way that it is with a bigger skirt. And that being said, I did go ahead and make all of my adjustments to some tracing paper so that way I can redo this later. And I have so many ideas for this dress, all the different ways that I could make it up and style it differently. So I'm looking forward to making this some more in the future. For the styling and accessories, I actually wanted there to be a third color in this. I wanted to go with like a mossy green or avocado green. You'll see in the luggage in the last clip, but I was able to bring that color in. At first I wanted it to be a detail that was in the fabric itself, but I decided to bring it in at the last minute with the accessories, which are ordered. So at the time of filming this and even showing off the garment, I don't have the accessories yet. So I have a new travel case, a vintage travel case from the 1960s. It's green, and I want to pair that with green shoes and green gloves. I was looking for some true vintage gloves, and I was having a really hard time finding them that was going to ship here on time. So I ended up getting some modern sheer gloves, which turned out pretty okay because it's going to be a lot hotter in Louisiana than we intended. I really wanted to wear a hat, but I was having a hard time finding a hat that I really liked. Also, it was very important that if I did purchase a hat, that it was going to be able to fit in my travel case. And so now, because of the high collar, I feel like a hat might be too much. So I'm thinking about making like a hairpiece. I have some velvet ribbon in the green color of all of my accessories, like the darker green. So now I'm thinking I should probably make some sort of a bow or something like a mod 1960s bow and just wear my hair in an updo. It's also really important to me that I'm able to like lay my head back on the seat and be comfortable as well. So it's probably best that I don't have a hat. And also I want my hair up because I want to make sure that not only does the neckline show in the front, but that also you can see the cutout in the back. I can't believe it's almost been a year since Drew and I met up for the very first time. I remember around this time last year we were planning on meeting up in March. So I was doing all of this planning to meet her for the first time. And now this is like one of very many meetups. Making friendships as an adult is super hard, and no one ever tells you that. And I may never have known if I didn't stop working outside the home. That's when I realized that all of my friendships depended on me either being in school or going to work. So the transition to being a stay-at-home mom, which I did choose, was quite difficult once I realized that I didn't have relationships anymore and that all of my relationships were because I was outside. I never felt like a passive friend before. I've always been the type of person who would be there whenever you needed me and things like that. And I just never realized how many of my friendships depended on the fact that we were seeing each other often. So it was very much out of sight, out of mind. And now that I am an adult that has made friends, I do intend to keep them. So I'm having to learn how to maintain long distance friendships. I've had to learn so many lessons in the years since becoming a mom. No one prepares you for how hard it is to leave your kids, especially as a stay-at-home mom, and that it's okay to have a little bit of time to yourself. And so now with all those lessons that I've learned over the last year or two, it's time for me to put them in action in 2025. A lot of you have called me brave over the years for all of the things that I'm willing to try, all the different projects, all the different foods and things that I'm willing to tackle. But one of the biggest things for me to conquer thus far is getting out and leaving the house. I do have anxiety and I've been working through it for the last couple years. And now like the final steps of me overcoming or even learning to live with anxiety is leaving more often and going out more often and getting parts of my life that I used to have before. I used to be super adventurous. This year is dedicated to healing, facing the last bit of fears that I have, and basically becoming a complete person again. I spent years of making garments from my daydreams of places that I wish I could visit and go to. And now I feel confident enough that I can actually go to the places and see my garments in the places I imagined they'd be. February is Black History Month, and I like to do an annual Black History Month project. This year I want to do two because I don't think I did one last year. One is one that I intended to do last year, but I chickened out, and I don't know, I might chicken out again, which is why I have two, because I have like a backup one. So I should have some more detailed sewing technical videos coming up soon. So thank you for watching this video, following along. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support me any further, you can leave me a virtual tip over on Ko-fi or become a bobbin over on Patreon. I would absolutely love to have you. Of course, the best way to support my channel for free is to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. By the time I'm with Drew, I would have replaced all of my brown accessories with green. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.